So today we will build a voice patch in the polygrid inspired by the Verbos Sawtooth stack Eurorack module. As always, I added also the ideas from this video to the PDF of tips and tricks I keep on updating. It's available on my Patreon, together with the project file from this video and from many other videos. So first of all, we have an oscillator that can crossfade between a sine and a sawtooth wave. Right, in this case in Bitwig, we will utilize the lookup modules under data here. We will use once a sine and once a saw wave. Right, to crossfade between them, I will use the blend module, right, once with the sine, once with the saw. This will go already to the output. And we need to scan through these lookup modules with a phase signal. So in this case, I will use the phasor, right? It will scan through the sine and it will scan through the saw, right? So we can crossfade between sine and a saw wave, right? And again, morph between them. Now we have also two envelopes, two attack release envelopes. So in Bitwig, I will use once an AR envelope, and you can see in the picture the envelope 2 will by default control the amplitude. Right, so what I will do in Bitwig, I will go to the level here and I will add an attenuator after the blend, so at the end of the chain, take it all the way down and map the AR envelope to it. So now I can use my keyboard, right, to play this. We also have wave shaping. This is the richness control. This is basically oscillator sync, but it will work only for on the saw wave, and it has envelope 1 controlling it by default. So again, in Bitwig, we will go to the phase here and I will add the sync module, the phase sync before the saw wave, and again use another AR envelope. Right now I can control the sync. If I go with the saw. Right, and I can also map the envelope to it. Right, and have a different envelope controlling it. By the way, we also have velocity, as you can see here, and by default it will control the timbre, it will control the crossfading between the sine and the saw. So again, in Bitwig, I will use the velocity in module and map it with the modulator out to the blend control. Right, so now I can use velocity to control the timbre. And now comes the fun part. We actually have 5 oscillators, not just one, and with the spread control, we can detune them from one another up and down, and even spread them in the stereo field. Now in this case, in Bitwig, we will use voice stacking. So I will raise the number of voices here to 5. Now we actually have 5 copies of this setup, and I can spread the tuning and spread the voices in the stereo field. Right, we have here the voice stack spread. You see plus and minus, it will spread it up and down. Right, let me just hold the note. Right, and also activate the stereo spread. Let me show you the finished patch. As you can see, it's the same patch here. I just have it more organized. Then I have macro controls here also set for the different controls. Right, so for example, if I move back to the keyboard, right, I can have the amplitude envelope set. Let me change the timbre. Right, I can add richness. Add envelope. Right, add velocity. I know that there is a, if I go back here, I know there's a pitch control here on the polygrid built in, but I added also a frequency control just to take it up and down in octave. And of course we have also the spread control here. Another thing I added, if we look here on the module, we have here a slider for the amplitude, so we can let this also drone. We don't have to play it with an envelope, so I added another control here for amplitude, so you can just let this drone. And of course I have here a few examples. So I have here, for example, a bass, and I'm using again the same setup with different controls here. Let me play this. Right, I added also some modulation, right, for the richness, for the frequency. There are also some effects here. I added a filter, some delay. Right, but it's exactly the same setup. I have here also a sequence. Right, again with the same setup. In this case I have spread all the way up. Right, so it's nice and detuned. And I have here also random velocity. And again, velocity controls the timbre in this case. And of course this is Bitwig, so we can also use polyphony. So in this case I have 5 voices in the voice tagging, but also 5 voices of polyphony, so I can also play chords. Right, but again this is the same setup. I have also a kick and a hi-hat, but before I unmute them, thank you again so much for watching. Consider joining us on Patreon. Cheers.